Hey all, here are OS Reviews. In late 2017, we were first introduced to Amazfit's Bip smartwatch, which was an ultra-affordable smartwatch that had an incredible battery life lasting in some cases as long as a month and having a always-on kind of transflective display. So today we're taking a look at the next evolution in the Bip line by Amazfit. This one is called the Amazfit Bip U. And for the first time, instead of a transflective TFT display, we now have an IPS LCD screen, which shows off more vibrant colors, has more inky blacks as well. It retains the low price point of selling under $60, having 5 ATM for water resistance. You can use it for swimming, offering different sports, and up to 50 different watch faces that you can customize it with. Screen size is technically a little larger at 1.43 inches and offers heart rate monitoring, sleep tracking, blood oxygen level monitoring, or SpO2. With that being said, the shift to a more vibrant IPS display does mean that the battery life is slightly lower, this time lasting around 9 days on a single charge. That's still going to be better than, say, the Apple Watch and many Android Wear smartwatches, which you have to charge daily or every 2 or 3 days. Charging it once every week is still quite good. It's also running on the latest operating system from Amazfit for their smartwatches. In fact, it's the same version that you'll get on the more expensive and premium watches from the company, including the GTR and the GTS2, updated since the days of the Bip that we first saw a few years back. Now, one other difference with this model, however, is there's technically 2 variants. A regular version of the Bip U, which doesn't come with built-in GPS, so if you want to track your route when you're running outdoors, you have to connect it to your smartphone and use your phone's GPS. But there's also a Bip U Pro that comes with a built-in GPS chip. Packaging here is done in a pretty elegant, simple way. We have some of the specs reiterated again on the sides, very lightweight and thin. It does use the latest Bluetooth 5.0, which is going to be newer than the Bluetooth 4.0 that the original Bip came with. The 60 plus different sports mode is going to give you more precise tracking of different exercise forms compared to the original Bip. Amazfit is a brand that is created by Huami, and they are a subsidiary of Xiaomi, one of the largest manufacturers of smartphones, all types of electronics in China, and so this is part of that ecosystem. So anyways, in here we have a pamphlet on the top that includes things like a quick user guide. Down below that, we have the smartwatch itself, which we'll take a closer look at, and finally on the bottom portion here is where we have just the charger wrapped up pretty nicely. So immediately that's a difference compared to the original Bip, which came with a cradle style charger that you needed to snap into place. It wasn't held magnetically like the new one, which is more compact. So initial impressions, the watch is very lightweight and it kind of reflects the light when we can see kind of the display underneath. It does have rounded corners on the edges compared to the original Bip, which had more of a square cutoff, so it has a bit more of attention to detail. The glass here, although it's still Corning Gorilla Glass 3 for scratch resistance, it actually is slightly curved, so whenever you're sliding your finger along it, it makes it feel pretty smooth. The body of the watch, just like before, is crafted out of a polycarbonate plastic, but it keeps it very lightweight. There's a simple crown key on the side, and then on the back here we have the array of sensors for heart rate monitoring and SpO2 blood oxygen level monitoring, and there's also 2 contacts for charging. It just kind of snaps into place once you align it like so. Straps are once again removable and customizable if you want to pick different colors and materials in the future. So let's see if there's any power. Just tap on the crown key here and it immediately kind of just boots up. The Amazfit app, by the way, has now been renamed. It's now called Zepp, so you can find it on the iOS or the Android Play Store, and then tap on Watch, and we'll tap on Allow, and then scan with a QR code. We'll activate, again, the QR code here on the watch. It will kind of read it in and should begin to pair after a few seconds. For the process to complete, make sure Bluetooth is turned on for your phone and also location services. I'm going to tap on Yes on the watch. There's haptic vibration, so it kind of vibrates to tell you physical confirmation, and it should connect soon to update the time and see if there's any firmware updates or anything like that. Restoring some settings, that's going to sync over your profile from your account over to the watch to calibrate things like your height, your weight, and make it more precise. So there is, in fact, a firmware update to make it more stable out of the box here. And let's do a very quick size comparison with the original Amazfit Bip from Again, a few years back, we can see that the display of the older Bip is indeed a little bit smaller. Bezels on the new one are a bit slimmer. We also have the curved glass on top of the display versus the flat one on the original, although the thickness overall of both watches are about the same, both very light and non-obtrusive. We can see there's definitely less sensors on the original, so the accuracy should be improved on the new model for things like heart rate and whatnot. Here we have the Mi Band 5, also Amazfit Band 5 has pretty similar size. This is more of a fitness band, so features are even more restricted, of course with a smaller display as well, but you can see there the size difference between the two. Notably, we can tap on Store to find the additional watch faces which you can customize, and there is a ton of customization here in terms of what you like. Just like with the bands, this one does have widget support as well, so even within a static looking watch face, you can also program to have certain elements like the time, the calendar. These parts can be rearranged. You can delete them, get rid of them, and shuffle them around, so they're all interactive modules on the watch face itself. Other ones which are more simple, you can even create your own watch face by taking a photo and then setting it as the background. So again, a lot of customization here, which is great to see. Now returning to the watch itself, although it doesn't have a always-on display, it does have lift to wake. So whenever you lift up your hand to see the time, the display here will automatically turn on, so it works pretty well. Otherwise, the interaction in terms of the fluidity of the UI is very smooth, as you can see here, compared to the Bip. Because of the slightly more limited nature of the transflective screen technology, you can see has a lot more of a jerkiness to the navigation process, versus on here, everything just feels a lot more kind of expensive, for lack of a better word, as you're moving along. It is very easy to understand. We have access to our daily activity. The ring here will turn all the way around when we've completed our goal. We can take a heart rate test, SpO2 test, a stress test. A pi score here will also be displayed, as well as the latest weather information, rain information is also shown, and we can also tap once to view slightly more details, including humidity, whenever the sunrise, sunset time will be, and upcoming weather for the kind of next week ahead. I can swipe over from the edge to go back, and the curved, again, display here does make it very smooth to interact with. You can also use it to control the music on your phone as a remote, although it doesn't have built-in storage of its own, but still is a neat little feature there. Now I can swipe down, by the way, to access some quick shortcuts to things like a do not disturb mode, as well as going into more advanced settings to take a closer look at different options and system settings. You can also adjust the brightness of the display here just by going into this tab. I can also swipe up, by the way, to take a look at my notifications. So things like emails, social media, network tweets, and messages will also show up here. Although you can't reply to them, it's still very neat to be able to see them at a quick glance on your wrist. So overall, the UI is very simple, but it is quite fluid and easy to master. Now we can also tap once on the crown key to bring up a list of all of the applications that we can take a closer look at if I don't want to use the widget screens or want to see more details specifically for, say, sleep for the past week, or take a look at workout history and other things. You can also kind of take a closer look at by tapping once to go into that list, or again, long holding to begin a sport tracking specifically. I'll look at a few final things here, including the alarm clock, which you can also turn on or off and customize on the watch itself, including the day of the week that you want it to ring can also be set. Tapping on the crown key, by the way, will automatically return you into the kind of main screen here. That works quite well. Each of the home screens or widgets can also be tapped on to show more information, by the way, including ones for other days of the week. Under advanced settings, you can also customize what tapping on the crown key ones can do, or long holding I should say, and change it to do something else like taking you to sleep tracking, workout history, all of these different apps you can customize using this crown key, which is pretty neat. And more sports are categorized by their different types. So if I tap on running, for example, they'll be sorted just by those genres, and overall, again, it works quite well. So if you want to start a sport, by the way, you can just tap on go. That will begin to continuously take your heart rate during the test. Finally, if we want to change the watch face, we can long hold for a few seconds here and customize it to a different layout, as you can see there, and gives you, again, a few options built on in. So if I want to change it to this one, I can tap, and we have the time as well as the pi score. If I want to customize this one, I should be able to tap on this icon here to change the widgets, whether I want to include something or not. So that's more or less it as far as our quick hands-on look and unboxing of the Amazfit Bip U. Of course, we'll be doing a lot more testing and come out with a complete review in the coming days, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But as far as impressions are concerned, it does seem to be like a very attractive, definitely a nice upgrade in terms of giving us more modern software. And if you want something that has a sharper, more contrasty display, this one definitely does that. Gives you smoother animations and more customization in the software in terms of what you want to display, and more attractive watch faces as well. Still has a very lightweight build, so super nice to wear, comfortable, and also giving you plenty of sports to track as a basic smartwatch / activity tracker. So be sure to come back for our full review soon, but for now that's been our unboxing. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the Amazfit Bip U.